Did you know there's an all-out war going on? The World War? And no news station is reporting on it. There are no bullets, no rockets flying, no tanks. And the war is not over territory. The war is out for men. It's an assault on manhood. The enemy's targets are men, especially young boys and young men. And the goal is to slowly, little by little, distort the idea of manhood until it's completely gone. You know, when I read in the Bible that we're called to act like man, every time I think of that passage, I wonder, do we even know what that means in the modern world, in the modern day and age? Do we know what it means to act like man? And there seems to be two extremes. One is where men are growing up to be weak, feminine, lazy boys that shave. And the other extreme is this macho man that hard to call a man either, more like a boy with a beard. And as I think about this, this is probably one of the things that really touch my heart the most, and one of the things that I worry and that my heart aches for. The more I think about it, I realize, we can whine about it. We can realize the problem. We can blame people. We can try to find solutions in other men. Perhaps it's pastors or government or something where we want to stop or limit this war. But I think it starts with each one of us. I think the easiest thing to do is, point fingers and seek for a solution in someone else. But it starts with each one of us that understands this problem, that realizes it. It starts with our faithfulness in homes. That's the first thing. Very often, many of us Christian men, we're all over the place. We're out there working, we're out there serving our communities, our churches, and we're neglecting our families, our wives and our kids. And I believe this is where the problem starts. If each single Christian man would just take some time and focus on being faithful in his home, I think this would be a huge, huge step in the right direction. That's where it starts. But I don't think that's where it ends. I think the next thing is for each one of us to look out a little bit further than our family. Look out in our circle of friends, in our neighborhoods, in our churches, in our community, and see if there are young boys, young men growing up without a father figure. And see what we can do about it. And usually that sounds like a really scary thing for a lot of men. But I think it can be a lot more simple than we think. I think step number one is just identifying if there are those type of people around us. And step number two, trying to find an opportunity to spend some time together. We don't have to think of it necessarily as some official discipleship where we sit down and we counsel and mentor them and we have these long, deep spiritual conversations. Now, nothing wrong with that. But I think it can start with something a lot more simple. Spending some time together. Doing something fun or something useful together. And each one of us has some opportunity. Whether it's ping pong, basketball, baseball, riding bikes together, going fishing together. Inviting somebody to come and cut the grass with us and paying them. Maybe you have a business and you can hire somebody, a friend of mine is actually trying this, hiring a young man and just mentoring them or spending time with them, coaching them. Whatever it is, I think it can be a lot more simple than we often think about it. Just find somebody, pray for someone, pray for God to send you someone you can become friends with. And just start spending time together. It doesn't have to be super deep and spiritual right away. Just learn to be a friend. Learn to be a friend and spend quality time together. And if you're a godly man, if you're a Christian, this Holy Spirit will guide you. I guarantee you. The Holy Spirit will put thoughts in your head and words in your mouth, and He will guide you. Just be faithful in it. Ask a lot of questions and just get to know Him. The third thing, this is something that really has been on my mind for a while, and I have a friend in the States who's doing this. He has a piece of property, and for 9 months out of the year, he has about 8 young men that come and live with their family. And they do life together. You know, they see how he treats his wife, how they live, how he acts on good days and bad days when he's frustrated. They have fun together, they go fishing and hunting. They learn to read their Bibles. They do quiet time together, or not together, but they learn how to do quiet time together. They have time to confess their sins and talk about what's really going on in their hearts. And I really love this. This has been really encouraging and inspiring to me. I really wish there's more and more places like this in the world, where a man or young man that hasn't had a strong father figure can come and live in a Christian home and just be shepherded, be cared for by a father. It doesn't really have to be exactly like that. I've been actually dreaming of doing something like this at some point in my life, if it's possible and God wills, to have a property where you can do men's retreats and weekenders and different events where we can spend time with men and coach men and train men. But maybe in the summer, 2-3 months, where people actually come and live there, or maybe during winter breaks. I think it can look a whole bunch of different ways, but I don't know, I really dream of more men getting fired up about this and finding a way that they could do something in their community, in their church, in their neighborhood, where young men can have a father figure. We're serving right now in Poland in a newly planted Ukrainian church. And recently I've heard statistics about Ukrainian divorce rate. For every, I think this was 2024, for every 100 marriages, there are 95 divorces. Can you imagine that? And so many of these women, I believe, are women that fled the country, that are living abroad, and maybe in Poland, Germany, and they're raising young boys, they're raising young men that are growing up without a father. So I think, if whatever country you live in, I'm sure you can see the tendencies, and you can see the effects of fatherless homes. So I guess this video is just an attempt to encourage at least one more man, at least one more godly man that wants to make a difference in the world. And it starts with us. It starts with our home, starts with our kids, our wives, us being faithful there, and then looking around and just finding one or two more around us. Imagine if each Christian man did that. Imagine the movement in the world that would happen if each single man would focus on his family and find a couple more young men they could be a fathers to. May the Lord bless you in that. And if you ever get fired up on this, I'd love to hear from you.